Welcome to New Light Living Podcast. I'm Ulrika Sullivan. I'm an intuitive spiritual life coach and a galactic astrologer. This video is a galactic astrology reading of the Pisces Lunar Eclipse at 15 degrees 22 minutes on September 7th, 2025. Welcome. What I do in these videos, I put an outer layer of fixed stars, celestial bodies, and galactic points to the traditional Western tropical astrology wheel. And that is to help us connect with our multidimensional self. Our soul journey is vast. And we are also in a process of connecting with all parts of ourselves, not just our humanly, earthly self, but our cosmic self. And this reading is a connection to the wider universal perspective and energies. What you'll receive in this video are 3 energetic themes that I've pulled out from the lunar eclipse chart. And also at the end, you'll receive questions, 3 questions, should you want to integrate this Pisces lunar eclipse energy some more. Are you curious about your own galactic alignments? Download my Galactic Alignments Reference Guide. There's a link in the pinned comment and the description box below. Many of us are interested in expanding beyond who we think we are. We are cosmic beings incarnated in human form, but we are operating from our wisdom connected to our soul journey all the time. And we are becoming more aware of, I call it soul awareness. And soul awareness is where we are allowing ourselves to expand and connect with parts of ourselves that we are now due to come into harmony with and balance with. The Pisces full moon is a lunar eclipse at 15 degrees 22 minutes in Pisces, conjunct Eridanus-Archenar. Eridanus-Archenar is a fixed star that is associated with energy around spiritual expansion, spiritual breakthroughs, and spiritual philosophy in many ways. So this is a reminder to all of us that our spiritual expansion is in full swing, and we are this happening in the sign of Pisces. We are meant to immerse ourselves in our own spirituality. And what that means may be different for everyone, but our perception of different realities, different realms, may be heightened at this time of this Pisces lunar eclipse. There's a lot we can learn about our soul's journey and our beautiful universe by allowing us a bigger perspective, a wider perspective of who we truly are. The ruler of this Pisces lunar eclipse is Neptune. And Neptune is now at 1 degree 11 minutes. Yes, there's some numerology there in Aries. And Neptune is in retrograde. So this is also a guide for us that our inner world is going to be very important to focus on during this lunar eclipse and the eclipse season overall. Neptune is still conjunct the Pegasus sheet fixed star at 29 degrees of Pisces. And we have talked about the Pegasus sheet a lot in my videos, but ultimately Pegasus sheet is associated with energy around liberation, freedom. The white-winged horse is the Pegasus constellation. So you get the gist in terms of the themes here. And the Pisces lunar eclipse is encouraging us to spend time in the dream world and in realms with no limit. So yes, this is an exciting period of time here in the beginning of September here. And the lunar eclipse is the first of 2 eclipses in the fall here. The next eclipse is in Virgo at 29 degrees of Virgo on September 21st. Eclipses are very revealing when it comes to our collective direction. And the reason for that is that eclipses are very much aligned with the nodal axis. And this Pisces lunar eclipse, we are revealing spirit in action. What I mean with that is that we are leaving behind a cycle of releasing karma, releasing self-doubt, releasing fear, releasing guilt, those types of lower frequency energies and vibrations. We are at a closing of a cycle. There's always cycles, but this Pisces lunar eclipse, a significant completion and closure of such a cycle. We are moving into a new era of embodiment of spirit that has an association with higher frequency energies of joy, of harmony, of unrestricted creativity, and the joy that is fueling such creativity. So at this Pisces lunar eclipse, we are encouraged to notice that flow. Pisces is a very unrestricted, no limits type of sign. So we are encouraged to notice what is bringing us flow in our lives and embody that, because we are vessels of universal energy and universal wisdom. And Eridanus-Archenar is reminding us of that the higher frequencies of vibration, such as joy, such as creative expression, is aligned with flow naturally. We are encouraged at this Pisces full moon lunar eclipse to culminate something in our lives when it comes to releasing self-doubt about something, and rather lean into the flow, the embodiment of what joy looks like and feels like. We are asked to lean into that flow instead of getting in our heads about it. And this is the signature of this Pisces lunar eclipse, the shift from mind, logic, very structured, step by step, to a fluid flow, open-hearted, creative expression with no limits. We're invited to flow with the waters. Pisces is a water sign, and also give and receive in flow so that we can continue our journey with an open heart to connect with a deeper truth within ourselves, but also about our environment. Because truth is beyond the logic, beyond the mind. And also, truth does not need to be defended. So this energy around releasing self-doubt or releasing something we are resisting or have to feel that we are defending something, that is an energy that we're invited now at this Pisces lunar eclipse to release the grip on, and rather lean into the flow. Lean into the flow of oneness. Truth is collective. It really resonates with everyone and everything. Truth cannot be negotiated. At this Pisces lunar eclipse, we have a process, a beginning of a culmination that we're going to talk more about come the Virgo solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo, which is a point of culmination and a new beginning. But we'll get to that. At this Pisces lunar eclipse, we're invited to lean into the flow, seeking the wider perspective that is truth, and honor the higher frequencies that are now available to us. So yes, this Pisces lunar eclipse is a spiritual breakthrough in many ways, particularly when it comes to the shift related to restriction or self-doubt, for example, to a flow and harmony type of higher frequency, because we are moving towards freedom of limitations. Before we dive into the Pisces lunar eclipse chart, I'd like to share what the energetic themes are. The first theme is spiritual breakthrough. And here we're going to talk about a grand water trine and also the fixed star Algorab in the Corvus constellation. The second theme is inner abundance unlimited. And here we're going to talk about Andromeda-Alperatz and also asteroids Hekate and Ceres. And the members only video associated with the Pisces lunar eclipse is associated with the second theme here. And I called it freedom from limitations. And we're going to dive into in more depth what that means. The third theme is DNA upgrade ongoing. And here we're going to talk about some of the major background frequencies, the long-term frequencies that are influencing us related to our upgrades in frequency that we're currently undergoing, but also the Lyra Ring Nebula and the role of Mars in the short-term process here between eclipses, between the Pisces lunar eclipse and the Virgo solar eclipse on September 21st. I'm trying something new this month. So the third theme here, you're going to find inside my YouTube membership here on this channel. So if you sign up for the star level or above, this energetic theme, number 3, will be available to you. And here we're going to talk more about the background frequencies that are currently influencing us long term, and also the role of Mars and the Lyra Ring Nebula M57. So head over to the membership and sign up for the star level, which comes at $4.99 a month. And then you'll be able to view the third energetic theme. Head over to the link in the pinned comment and description box to sign up for the membership. All right, so let's dive into the Pisces lunar eclipse chart next. So here we have the Pisces lunar eclipse chart. And as you can see here, we have the sun and the moon in opposition at the full moon here in Pisces and Virgo, respectively. And there's a lot going on because of the lunar eclipse. The nodal axis will be in close proximity to the full moon here, as you can see. We also have Mercury quite close to the sun there up in Virgo. The ruler of this full moon is Neptune. And as I mentioned, Neptune is conjunct Pegasus' sheet, but also at a very powerful degree, 1 degree and 11 minutes, 111. So yes, this is also a sign that this is something to really pay attention to in terms of Neptune's influence and message to us. Neptune in retrograde asks us to go within and really observe this shift between our mental domain and the heart frequency, and really harness that at this lunar eclipse. The full moon lunar eclipse here is in square with the great attractor at 14 degrees of Sagittarius. And also on the opposite side there, Orion Rigel at 16 degrees of Gemini. The great attractor is very powerful, especially when it comes to integration and holding space for integration. And Orion Rigel is very much associated with inner abundance and acknowledging our inner riches. So this T-square energy is encouraging us to go beyond our mental constructs, to trust our visions, and what comes through, because inner abundance is very much trusting that inner wisdom that is present within each one of us. And the influence from Eridanus-Archenar here, conjunct the moon, is very much allowing us to trust our own inner spirit and what comes through at this time. But first, I'd like to just mention Eridanus-Archenar again, which is the main influence of this full moon lunar eclipse. And we talked about Eridanus-Archenar in the previous video, so I won't be too long on Eridanus-Archenar here, but basically, Eridanus-Archenar is linked into the flow, the river. And as you can see here, Eridanus is quite a long constellation in the sky here on the sky map. Linked into Orion Rigel that we just talked about also is part of the T-square. So here we have a connection between our inner riches, our spiritual self, our spiritual wisdom, and the flow that we are encouraged to lean on, to tap into at this time. So a beautiful message and symbolism here from Eridanus-Archenar to lean into that flow, to allow the wave of energy to guide us at this time and take us into realms that we may not have discovered within ourselves before. All right, so are you ready for the first energetic theme that I called spiritual breakthrough? So here we have the first theme that I called spiritual breakthrough. And that is really what it is at this Pisces lunar eclipse. And largely it's supported by this powerful grand water trine between Hekate, asteroid Hekate there at 15 degrees of Scorpio, in trine with Canis Major Sirius A at 14 degrees of Cancer, and also, of course, the Pisces lunar eclipse moon there at 15 degrees of Pisces. I've also included Jupiter there at 19 degrees of Cancer, and I'll talk more about why I'm including Jupiter in this influential grand water trine, because we have a lot going on there along the axis of the full moon, the sun and the moon, and the nodal axis so close to the sun and the moon. We have also Mercury in the vicinity there. So this focus along this axis will tighten the next following days after the lunar eclipse, in the sense that Mercury will proceed to conjunct the south node on September 11th at 18 degrees of Virgo. And as the sun and Mercury proceeds here, Mercury and the sun will be conjunct on September 13th at 20 degrees of Virgo. So there's a lot of connection here, a tightening of the connection in terms of conjunctions. So it's an important process to connect Mercury, Sun, and the South Node in the week after this lunar eclipse is actually happening. And what this tightening means, so this connection, is that we are under guidance here to embody more of our spiritual self. Virgo is a very earthy sign, a grounded sign, while Pisces, where the North Node and the Moon are the opening to our spiritual self, our dream world, our ability to relate to our multidimensional self. So the collective direction here, represented by the nodal axis, is showing us what we are invited to focus on. And Mercury there in Virgo conjunct the Sun and also the South Node involved is very much this invitation to complete our karmic cycle of self-doubt, releasing the restrictive energies within ourselves in favor for opening up to our multidimensional self, where the Moon and North Node is guiding us now to move towards. Hekate and Sirius A there as part of this grand water trine. Hekate is the triple goddess, which is traversing our past, present, future with ease. And Canis Major Sirius A is very much where that wisdom is kept. So Jupiter's journey here, connecting with Sirius A over many weeks, is an unfolding of spiritual wisdom that many of us are harboring within and are now unlocking as we go here. Jupiter is here to expand this part of ourselves. This lunar eclipse is a beginning of a culmination, a sense of completion in many ways around the return of our own spiritual wisdom within. So ultimately, the spiritual breakthrough here is here. It's here now. And for many of us, it feels like page turning over in some area of our lives. This sense of going beyond limitations that we may have put on ourselves in the past. So in some area of your life, you may feel that there is a little bit more space. There's maybe a little bit more peace or rest or relaxation within around that topic or that situation, or however this applies to you. So notice here also how you can go beyond previous perceptions about this situation or person or experience that this may relate to. All right, let's dive into the next energetic theme that I've called Inner Abundance Unlimited. So here we have the second theme that I've called Inner Abundance Unlimited. And also the members only video associated with the Pisces lunar eclipse is going to be a deep dive in this energy here this theme too. And I've called this video Freedom from Limitations. So if you're curious about the members only video exclusively available to Galaxy and Universe level members, head over to the link in the pinned comment and description box to sign up for the membership. To support this, we also have a powerful yod comprising of Venus there at 15 degrees of Leo now. And also the other leg of the yod is the connection with Corvus-Algorab at 13 degrees of Libra. This is very powerful influence on the full moon here. And we're going to talk about Algorab in a second here. But this is a very divine feminine influence that is encouraging us to go beyond the mental constructs. Venus and Algorab in combination here, serving us to release lower frequencies from our experience at this time. And we'll talk more about Algorab in a second here, which may be embodied as more relaxation, more rest, more meditation, more receiving. And Corvus-Algorab here is a very important influence as well that is associated with releasing lower frequencies with courage. And Algorab is a messenger in many ways, so that we also come into contact with the wisdom of that karma or release of lower frequencies, what it actually means for us. And that translated into wisdom now. And all of this is supported by, as I mentioned earlier, Venus and Algorab here in Yod with the full moon lunar eclipse. Venus is the divine feminine parts of us that we're invited to lean on at this time. And before we move on, in the members only video at the Galaxy level and above in the membership of this channel, we are going to talk about this interesting energy, the yod here between asteroid Hekate, the south node Sun and Mercury in yod with Ceres at 14 degrees of Aries, and I named it Freedom from Limitations. And we're going to dive into more of Corvus-Algorab's influence here. And this is going to be super exciting to dive into. So if you're curious, sign up for the Galaxy level and above, and you'll be able to view that video. So going back to the lunar eclipse here, and this powerful focus that we have on the full moon lunar eclipse and the north node direction, the collective direction forward. This is a powerful opening, a request for an expansion through the direction of the north node and the full moon lunar eclipse highlighting that. And just a little bit about Corvus-Algorab here. Algorab is at 13 degrees of Libra, is very much associated with messaging, and especially from the subconscious, the underworld, things that we need to come into contact with to be able to release them. And Algorab here has a strong influence at this Pisces lunar eclipse. Corvus-Algorab is also associated with the energy of courage. So there is a summoning of courage at this Pisces lunar eclipse to be able to release and put a stamp on this completion, this sense of completion that many of us have of a cycle that we have worked on for a long time. And the eclipse season often highlights the completions and starts of new cycles. So Algorab here is engaged in this Pisces lunar eclipse for a very important reason. This energetic theme has to do with Corvus-Algorab's strong influence on this yod, where we find Hekate, asteroid Hekate at 15 degrees of Scorpio, and also the cluster there of south node Sun and Mercury in yod with Ceres at 14 degrees of Aries, conjunct Andromeda-Alperatz. Hekate, the past, present, future, that ability within ourselves to traverse realms and the dream world, but also the strong guidance from Mercury bringing through messages here in conjunction, both with the Sun and the South Node within 2 weeks' time here, roughly. And also Ceres has a very important role here, conjunct Andromeda-Alperatz, And Andromeda-Alperatz is associated with freedom from limitations. And also in combination here with Ceres, which is very much the harvest, the inner abundance itself. It's a powerful guide to our individual soul growth here in Aries. It's all about ourselves. And we have Hekate in Scorpio, which speaks to the depth that we are invited to go to and connect with, and Sun, Mercury, and South Node in Virgo here with the embodiment of it. So I can't wait to dive into this energy in more detail and give some guidance around this inner abundance unlocking within ourselves in the members only video. So yes, the very important influence from Ceres conjunct Andromeda-Alperatz here in opposition with Corvus-Algorab here is a very important influence in terms of the direction we're going in here. Ceres has to do also with how we take care of ourselves. So during the Pisces lunar eclipse, it's really important to also invite more self-care, more nurturing of ourselves and our inner landscape, because it is also opening us up to moving forward in the direction that our soul is taking us. All right, let's dive into theme 3 that I called DNA Upgrade Ongoing. And if you'd like to continue this video to view the third energetic theme, the DNA Upgrade Ongoing, sign up for the star level within the membership here on this YouTube channel and continue the video there. Within the star level, you can also ask me personal questions about your own galactic alignments and how they relate to this Pisces lunar eclipse. So I can't wait to hear your questions and your thoughts there inside the membership. Are you curious about your own galactic alignments? Download my Galactic Alignments Reference Guide. There's a link in the pinned comment and the description box below. So I have a couple of questions. Should you want to integrate some more of this Pisces lunar eclipse energy within your own life? The first question is, what are you completing in your life at this time? And this may take a little while to, what is it that I'm completing? And this may not be something that is shown in the physical world in terms of completing a contract or completing a project. And one way of knowing that a chapter is completed is often when we have changed a perspective on something. So what is that for you? If you didn't have any limitations, what would you experience? What would you become? What would you be? This is a very big question, but the Pisces lunar eclipse is inviting us to dream. It's inviting us to go beyond what we think is possible. We are removing limitations within ourselves at this time. So the more we lean into that process, that shift from restriction to opening and flow, we can also encourage our own process to align with that. So what is that for you? How can you increase your soul awareness? Soul awareness is not necessarily that explicit or tangible. When we increase our soul awareness, it's about knowing more about who we truly are beyond the physical world and our experiences as a soul in other realms in the past, so to say. So how are you at this time connecting with your multidimensional self and deepening that understanding? And of course, if this is speaking to you, that you are also on a path of expanding into more soul awareness, schedule a reading with me, and you and I will work together to unlock some of those keys within yourself to connect with more wisdom, your soul's experiences, and who you truly are. So have a great eclipse season. I'll be soon back with the second video of the Virgo solar eclipse later in the month. And I'm also working on the 2026 Galactic Astrology program that will be released in October. So I can't wait to invite you to that. So thank you for listening and watching New Light Living podcast. I'm Ulrika Sullivan. I'm an intuitive spiritual life coach and a galactic astrologer. Visit me on ulrikasullivan.com. Have a great lunar eclipse, and I can't wait to be back with another video for you. Bye.